Hello, in this video we are going to discuss list view modes. Modes is a new concept as of 2.15, and the reason why modes has been introduced is because there are some situations where we don't want to display all the list views in one component or on one page, only one. And in these particular cases, we can set the mode of the component and only certain features get displayed and then certain other information is required. So if we go to the everything example, which is our go-to for all our initial demoing, we can see here the everything example. We have a select object, etc. If we click on and go to we edit the page, what we'll notice if we click on the component are a few more attributes. One of them is the component mode itself. There are three options: at page, single list view, and related list view. At page is the mode which is standard, default, and for which all the pages up to now are pretty much set to. Every time a component is added to a page, it assumes this mode, and up to now it is always assumed. So this is just the default. The other attributes are single list view object and single list view API name. These, of course, are for if we decide that we want to change the mode of this component from at page to something else. So if we decide to set it to single list view or related list view, the single list view object will need to be set. This would be the API object name and the single list view API name. So that will be the API name of the list view itself. Obviously, the person setting this up would need to understand the API name of the list view before they can continue. What this then means is, as soon as the component is displayed, it will look for these two values. It will go and find the list view and it will display them. What it will not do is show the drop down to select the objects, and it will also not show the drop down to display the selected or the available list views. So those two components of the larger component will not be displayed. The best way to look at these particular different modes from a single list view and a related list view perspective is to look at the dev examples. So there is a new dev examples tab. If you go to the Simpli list views examples and then dev examples tab, and there are 4 examples here, and this is really for a developer to be able to use the Simpli list view component inside of their own pages that they might be building. So the first example here shows the app page, and then so the only 2 pieces of information that you need to provide are the page name itself and the mode. In this particular example, you can see also on the page here with this code below is the example itself, so you can play around. And as you can see here, if I was to select certain list view, information gets displayed. What you will notice here is nothing else. There's not many features available. Penning is always available, and the admin button is always available to assist admin, which is what I am right now. Now the example 2 is a better example because it gives us all the different attributes that the component can take, and so if we were to one of the things here, you can see the included objects is account, contacts, and opportunities, so it's only going to show those. And if we were to select the account and maybe select the same list view, you'll notice here that many more of the features now are being displayed, right? So we can search, we can select an action, and we can also, if I double click, we have inline editing. We can refresh, we can refresh the data, we can refresh the current view, all these kinds of things that are typically available, and that can be set by the administrator. So that's the app page. This is nothing new. It just really shows that we can now code this into our LWC components that we're building as a developer. Example 3 now takes us to a single list view mode. You can see here that the single list view object and the single list view API names have been provided. And so, in the example, it didn't ask us for that information. It simply displayed that list view, and the drop-downs, as you can see here, are not available. So this would be a great example of when you want to display a list view inside a page that might display different information. You just want a single list view to be displayed inside that page. It doesn't take any filter criteria, and it will always be displayed. So the criteria, doesn't matter if you have criteria or not, information is going to be displayed. This list view is going to be displayed. The other example that we have, so this is a single list view, and then dev example 4 is the, this says single list view, but actually this is a related list view. And what actually is going to happen here is it asks for an account. And so I'm going to search for an account. I will select an account, and what happens is the account information, the account ID, is passed into the component, and then the information for that component based on that criteria is displayed. So in this particular instance, we're using contacts, and we're using all contacts as the list view, and then we're passing in the join criteria is the selected account ID. And so we select the account, and the contacts for that account are shown. If I was to get rid of this and choose something else, University of Arizona, you can see here the account is different, the contacts are different. Now this is obviously more related list oriented. The idea here is that developers can build out their own pages. They can have components which allow you to select accounts or information, and then that selection criteria based on IDs can be passed into this component, and other data is displayed. Note that in this particular example, there is one account ID which is being passed in, but there can be multiple account IDs that are passed in. So you could have a selection of accounts, and then those, for example, in this case, the contacts would be displayed. So that's all those. The only big differences between the related list view, which is this one, and the single list view, which is this one, is that right now the single list view will always display something, and it'll always be displayed, the columns and the information, whereas the related list view only gets displayed once the criteria has been provided and there is data to display. So if we get rid of the account, you can see here, it disappears, and the reason why is because the join criteria that was passed through is blank, and so nothing gets displayed. So that's it for modes for right now. Just to recap, we have 3 different modes. The first one is app page, which everybody should be familiar with. The second one is a single list view, which displays a single list view with data that has been set within the list view information itself. And then the third one is the related list view, where you can pass in, for instance, an account ID or whatever, and then that object, that list view is going to be displayed with its information based on the criteria. So we hope that's useful for you. Please let me know if you have any questions, and go to GitHub if you have any issues. Thank you so much.